Gabi gabi, gabi gabi, gabi mashabaza gabi gabi, gabi gabi, gabi mashabaza wasi, sio shiwakona sitaluguza wasi, sio shiwakona sitaluguza gabi gabi, gabi gabi, gabi mashabaza gabi gabi, gabi gabi, gabi mashabaza wasi.
Good evening, and welcome to the Lawrence High School 2021 Black History Month celebration. My name is David Adam, the very proud principal here at Lawrence High School. It is my honor and my privilege to welcome all of our guests to this evening's event. We have a wonderful program planned for all of you tonight, and even though we'd much rather been here in person in our auditorium, as we have been the past 9 years, we are still thrilled to be able to safely share this program with our greater Lawrence community. I would like to invite the other members of the LHS administrative team to welcome you all this evening. Thank you and have a great night.
Hi, I'm Faye Lopez, one of the assistant principals here at Lawrence High School. Tonight's program caps off a month's worth of experiences that have brought together students, faculty and staff, parents and community leaders to share and celebrate the accomplishments of some amazing individuals.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Damian Barriexza, and I'm one of the assistant principals here at Lawrence High School. In addition to tonight's awards, you will also see some fantastic performances and contributions from both LHS students as well as the larger community.
Ms. Clark, her committee, and her students worked so very hard to arrange a special evening to highlight the very talented and hardworking members of our community who have given so much of themselves and have made strides to improve the lives of all who they encounter. Tonight, we will meet two trailblazers, two shining stars that we are so very proud of. Also, we have a number of talented individuals who wanted to share their gifts with you this evening. So without further ado, let's get this program started.
Wow, that was a great video. And this video that you just watched was the creative genius of Darren Walker. But tonight, Mr. Walker is unable to be with us. He sadly passed away due to COVID complications last year. But we would be remiss if we did not set aside this moment of our program to remember the life and the legacy of Darren Walker. if not for social distancing, we will all be together, assembled in this space to start our Black History celebration. This space, which is the cafeteria of Lawrence High School, will be filled with vendors and delectable soulful dishes for our attendees to sample. But tonight, sadly, we're not able to assemble together in this space. But we do have many memories of previous events held in this room and, as you'll see, throughout the school. And we intend to share those memorable moments with you tonight and create new memories of Black history. Although the sights, the sounds, and those delectable dishes were pretty hard to leave behind in the cafeteria, it was always the beginning of a night filled with presentations from students, faculty, community members, recognition of those community members as trailblazers and Rising Star recipients. It was just the beginning. And we welcomed community members into our school to celebrate Black history, to celebrate Black culture, and to remember those that paved the way for you and I to celebrate on tonight. So we begin tonight reminiscing and also with new presentations from our students and some of our faculty. But we begin tonight welcoming the Lawrence High School Magical Choir in their performance of I Believe by Mark Miller.
I believe in the sun. I believe in the sun. Even when it's not shining. I believe in the sun. I believe in the sun. Even when it's not shining. I believe in even when I don't feel it. I believe in love, even when I don't feel it. I believe in even when I don't feel it. I believe in even when I don't feel it. I believe in God. I believe in God. Even when God is silent.
Well, that was a great performance by our students. Thank you so much to the choirs. We know they combined under the direction of Mandy Johnson. So thank you so much. That was a great performance. Thank you guys. So before we move on tonight, we need to just take a moment and pause and really emphasize why tonight is so important. The importance of Black history, the importance of Black culture. And I'm happy to have my colleague here with me tonight to do just that, because it's important. We could not let this month pass or this year pass without having this event. Even though we would have loved to have assembled together, this is what it is. This is our format right now. We're using this format to still educate and to share the importance of Black history.
Yes, and I want to mimic what Ms. Clark is saying. I can't stress either how important this month is. I know I speak hopefully for other social studies teachers that an ongoing assignment that I have with my students is a Black History Month bio. And students come up to me and say, hey, Mr. Wolf, may I do Frederick Douglass? May I do Harriet Tubman? May I do Rosa Parks? May I do Ruby Bridges? And the answer is no, 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 and no, you may not. Because these are the same people that are stressed over and over in the history books. And I'm trying to explain to my students about bias and perspective. A big part of Black History Month is the celebration of American history, which includes Black history in its totality. And and I'm not saying, obviously, those people are important, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all of that, but I want the students to explore further, find an area of interest, and find out all of the men and women of color that have done so much to advance American society that we never hear of in textbooks. This is a golden educational opportunity.
And I'm glad you mentioned, because and we've heard it said so many times, so many people use that phrase casually, and sometimes they understand it and sometimes they may not understand it. But yes, African American history is definitely a part of American history. It is American history. It's just that because of those history textbooks that you mentioned that are biased or basically relegate Black Americans to just a few Black Americans and their accomplishments and their achievements, and just completely omits the other African Americans that were just as vital to civil rights or whatever the movement may be. Like, it's necessary to have a month like this. It's necessary, even though we don't just celebrate Black history for 1 month. Is recognized nationally as an observance for 1 month, but those of us that celebrate 365 days of the year, we know we do that. But we also know that it's very important during this month of national observance to really educate our students. And those history textbooks historically have not done that. They just have not. They have actually, instead of illuminating achievements and accomplishments, they have diminished many of those achievements and accomplishments by just completely omitting them altogether. And that has been detrimental to our education. I sometimes think that's why our society is in the place it's in today, because of lack of education, because of lack of knowledge. And so if you're taught hate and not love, and then you don't have any knowledge or education to combat that, what do? So education is vital. Having nights like tonight in this event is vital. If we want to make our society a better place, education has to be at the forefront of that. We have to educate our students. We have to educate adults. This is not just for students. Tonight is for adults as well. Like, hopefully it sparks some interest for even some adults to get to searching more about African American history and African American culture.
Yes, and in American Civilization 1, which is our curriculum, we learn about the abolitionist movement. We learn about Frederick Douglass. We're going to learn about a white abolitionist named William Lloyd Garrison. And I want to read you a quote that I think is apropos for what's going on in society today. So let me get into my Garrison mode here. I am in earnest. I will not equivocate. I will not excuse, I will not retreat a single inch, and I will be heard. And I think that's so important. If you take a step back and you listen to what he's saying, it is time to come together as a society, both harmoniously and with equality. That is the direction we need to go.
I definitely agree. And that's why I think, again, nights like tonight are so important, because I feel like we can't move forward in that harmony and unity until we first address our history. Like, we have to know our history. We have to acknowledge the rights. We have to, the wrongs. We have to acknowledge those wrongs, and we have to right those wrongs. But if we don't acknowledge the wrongs that were done to a group of people, then how do we move forward in that unity and harmony? Like, it's possible, but we have to be able to acknowledge it. And we find that acknowledgement in our education. Like, some people don't even know what to acknowledge because they're not even taught what's happened or what truly happened. They're taught a glossed over version of history, or the history is omitted altogether from the textbook.
True.
And until that education is really there at the forefront, and we really know the importance and the contribution of African Americans, it's kind of hard. I mean, yes, it's possible, but we really need this piece, this educational piece, in order to bring about that unity and that harmony.
Right. And as Ms. Clark just said, I really think she captured the essence of what the message we're trying to get forth to everybody tonight. So, on behalf of the Arts and Humanities Academy, we hope that you have a great time tonight, and that you think about some of the things that we said. And I just can't thank Ms. Clark enough for all of her hard work and dedication during a global pandemic and not being able to have as much access to our students to put together an evening like this. So thank you very much for allowing the Academy to be part of this each and every year. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is this our 8th year or 9th year working together?
8th.
I know it's around there.
It's 8th.
8th,
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
8th year. Yeah, and no, thank you for always being a part of this event, Mr. Wolf, because we know, I mean, it takes a lot. It really does take a lot. It takes a lot of heads together, trying to pull it together. And this year, more so than ever, it has taken an army to try to pull this together in a virtual setting. It has been challenging, but it's well worth it. And I want to close with a quote. There are so many quotes, and I have to say, when we were trying to think about some of the things we would discuss tonight, because there's so much to discuss and we don't have that time, like you all would disconnect before we finish, but it's so much to cover. And one of the quotes that I remember, because there's so many quotes, Marcus Garvey, I believe, said it best to summarize to me why a night like tonight is so important. And he said, and I quote, "A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." And just as Mr. Wolf said earlier, I mean, that unity and that harmony, that's what we want. We want to be able to bring about that change. But it starts first with that history. It starts with the celebration of that history and that culture and the origins. We have to know from whence we come to understand where we are and to chart the course for our future.
Well stated, Ms. Clark. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy.
LHS is proud to honor the Honorable Geraldine Urie as our Trailblazer recipient tonight. She's a proud Trenton native. After completing her high school and undergraduate studies, Judge Urie received her Juris Doctorate degree from Columbia University School of Law. After completing years in the public sector, she joined the ranks of the Consolidated Edison Company of New York, one of the largest energy companies in the country. By the end of her tenure there, she was one of the highest-ranking African-American women in the corporation. After retiring, Judge Urie devoted her time to community service. She was appointed in the 2017 to the Trenton Municipal Court by then Mayor of Trenton, Eric Jackson. Throughout her legal career, Judge Urie has been involved in promoting educational achievements in youth and has advocated for increased representation of women and people of color in the legal profession and on the bench. For her unrelenting dedication to local and surrounding communities, we salute Judge Geraldine Urie tonight. Please join me in congratulating the Honorable Judge Geraldine Urie.
Thank you. Thank you, my sister, my blood sister. Congratulations, Your Honor. Thank you, my sorority sister. And they all know I love flowers. Well deserved. And thank you, my
Thank you for being our trailblazer.
Thank you. And thank you, my other sorority sister.
Congratulations.
And our family.
Well deserved.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Aww.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for taking this picture.
Congratulations, Judge Uri. On behalf of the faculty, administration, staff, and students of Lawrence High School, we say congratulations on being our 2021 Trailblazer Award recipient this year.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So much. Thank you.
Good evening. I am pleased and humbled to be recognized by Lawrence Township High School as one of the 2021 Trailblazer Award honorees during this Black History Month. The world has changed so much from what it was like when I was a small African-American child growing up in the city of Trenton. There were few Blacks in the legal profession and still fewer Black women. The only lawyers I knew were those who were on television. I grew up during the Civil Rights Movement when Blacks were advocating for equality and opportunities. My parents always instilled in us a legacy of service and responsibility. I can hear my parents saying now that no matter what we achieved, it was based not only on our own skills and abilities, but based in large part on the sacrifices of others who paved the way for us, and that we had a duty and a responsibility to leave the door open even wider than it was when we found it for opportunities for others. I never set out to be a trailblazer, but I knew I was entering a field that was unique for women and for Blacks at that time. I can remember being one of 19 Blacks when I entered Columbia Law School out of a class of over 300 people. In fact, there were many times when I was the only person of color at a particular job or in a certain position or at a certain level. And when I was appointed municipal court judge in September 2017, I was surprised to find out that I was the only woman on the municipal bench in Mercer County at that time, although there had been women in prior years. But in many corridors of the legal profession, the absence of people of color is still the norm. And while there has been a lot of progress in this country in the areas of racial and gender equality, we have found now that the progress we made has not been as secure as we thought it would be, so that we still have a duty to mentor, inspire, and speak up when we see the need. And if I am a trailblazer, as this beautiful plaque says, for Black women and for young Black girls and Black boys to follow, my goal is to lead that trail wider and make the journey easier for others. So I say to all young people, set goals for yourself, dream big, aim high, shoot for the stars. You can be whatever your heart desires. Each of you can and will be a trailblazer. So in conclusion, I want to thank you again for this amazing award, which I accept, giving all praises to God in memory of my parents, and thanking my family, the Worthy family, my Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Association of Black Women Lawyers, and Drifter Sisters, and most especially those people upon whose shoulders I stand, who paved the way for me and opened the doors for me. Thank you again, and God bless.
When reminiscing on past celebrations, we stumbled upon footage of the Renaissance Jazz Band. This band has been performing with us since 2013, offering their time and many talents. Year after year, they have brought so much energy and joy to the celebration, leaving the audience dancing and singing along. So even though we can't be together physically, we couldn't imagine a celebration without them. Please help us welcome the Renaissance Jazz Band.
Rock steady, baby.
LHS is proud to honor Mr. Bruce Boyd as our Trailblazer recipient tonight. A Trenton native, he is a force to be reckoned with, as he is passionate about service to youth and their families. Nowhere is this more prevalent than in his organization, Building Our Youth's Development. In this organization, Mr. Boyd has developed a program to enrich students and engage them and their parents. He is now venturing into motivational speaking and will continue to build our youth's development for many years to come. He is a proud husband and father. We salute Mr. Boyd tonight for his service to local and surrounding communities. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Bruce Boyd.
Congratulations, Mr. Boyd.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the administration, the faculty, the staff, and the students of Lawrence High School, we congratulate you on being chosen this year's Trailblazer Award recipients.
Thank you.
We thank you for your dedication and being an inspiration to our young students, also to adults alike. Thank you for all that you do in the community and surrounding communities. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and I accept this humbly and can't wait for the presentation next week.
Hi, my name is Bruce Boyd, and I would like to thank the Lawrence High School Black History Committee for nominating me for the 2021 Trailblazer Award. A little bit about Boyd, Building Our Youth Development. We were founded in Trenton, New Jersey in 2003, with the emphasis on education, empowerment, enrichment, and exposure to the world outside of their environment. Their meaning our young kids that were in PJ Hill School. During those 18 years of service, we have traveled to many historical places in the United States. 3 that I like to mention is Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, and in St. Louis, the Dred Scott Courthouse. The things that I like to leave young people with is to study like you're going to live forever and live like you're going to die tomorrow. Thank you.
There is no Black History celebration without Black music, specifically gospel music. Etched into history, gospel music is credited with providing hope and inspiration in the face of unfathomable circumstances. Through gospel music, slaves escaped to freedom. African Americans rejoiced in triumph, found joy in sorrow, and were inspired to keep their eyes on the prize. So tonight, we return to 2020 with the Lawrence High School Gospel Choir singing Rain.
Fall down, Lord, please.
Lawrence High School is delighted to welcome our keynote speaker for this evening. He is none other than the Reverend Simeon D. Spencer. No stranger to the Lawrence High School or surrounding communities, he is the senior pastor of the Union Baptist Church in Trenton. A fellow Alabama native, he has been shaped by his cultural experiences and often weaves those experiences into soul-stirring and inspirational messages. Realizing the vital role the Black church has played in the fight for racial justice, he does not mince words when injustice is recognized. In addition to his ministry and leadership, he's also a family man. He is a proud husband, father, and grandfather, and I'm proud to call him my pastor. Please welcome our keynote speaker for this evening, Reverend Simeon D. Spencer.
Happy Black History Month, Lawrence High School, and congratulations to the honorees, Judge Uri, my friend Bruce Boyd, Kyla Allen, and Jada Parker, our trailblazers and rising stars, each of whom is making history within their own spheres of influence. We are so grateful, and we honor all that they do to inspire and make our lives better through their work and their contributions to the larger community. And speaking of people who make our lives better, Ms. Jametta Clark, we love you and we appreciate all that you pour into this celebration each year and that you pour into our children. Principal Adam and all of the faculty and staff at Lawrence, thank you for your ongoing support of this important celebration. I'm blessed to be sharing with all of you again. This is my third time doing so, I believe, but I just know that whenever I am with Lawrence, I know that I'm with friends. And of course, to be with you this year means coming together virtually. We are all keenly aware of how different the celebration is this year. The global pandemic of COVID-19 has changed all of our lives in so many ways. Yet we are still here. We're still celebrating. The celebration has changed, but it is not canceled. It's different, but it is not defeated. Ironically, that is a reflection of the story that is Black history. Black history speaks from the context of a culture in which, rather than being celebrated, differences were exploited with the intent to defeat. Changes were made systemically, institutionally, with the intent to cancel. But it didn't happen. Over and over, Black folk and people of goodwill across racial and cultural lines, the trailblazers and rising stars of their times, they found ways to pull together, to fight forward and transcend differences and changes that were for the worse in order to make differences and effect changes for the better. That's what was done by people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Congressman John Lewis, Mrs. Rosa Parks in the fight for civil rights. That's what was done by people like William Wells Brown, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman in the abolitionist movement and the fight against slavery. When the world said no, they said yes. When the world said stop, they said go. When the world said backward, they said forward. When the world said injustice, they said justice. When the world said bondage, they said freedom. They allowed neither differences to defeat them nor changes to cancel them. And neither can we. Remember that the whole point of our celebration of history is that we might be inspired to make the history that someone else will one day celebrate. This is one cycle that must continue. My late father, who once witnessed a cross burned in front of a church he pastored in Alabama, would tell me time and time again, son, things ought to get better with every generation. I'm doing what I can in my generation. You have to do the same. And do we must. because progress is not automatic. Dr. King had a dream, but he also knew that you cannot sleepwalk your way to freedom. He said, change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. And so we must straighten our backs and work for our freedom. That's what he and others of his generation did. And we too must take up, add to, and pass on the legacy of Black history and the advocacy for freedom, for justice and equity for all people that is its heartbeat. Neither my father nor the great host of heroes we celebrate and remember this month lived to see significant cultural milestones, such as the election and the re-election of a man of color, Barack Obama, as President of the United States. They did not live to see a woman of color, Kamala Harris, become Vice President of the United States. But I would like to believe that they somehow have peered into time from eternity with a sense of pride and a measure of satisfaction that their contributions, their sacrifices and labors, their struggles were not in vain. I imagine those who've gone on before, like my father, saying, things are better. But I also know that they would say to us, you can't stop now. Definitely not now. You see, better is just that, better. It is not, however, best. And the truth is that we've seen much in recent years, too much, to be lulled to sleep with a false sense of satisfaction and complacency, when clearly we are a long way from being our best selves. Remember the chants of Charlottesville, Jews will not replace us. Remember the massacre at Emmanuel AME in Charleston, South Carolina, and Dylan Roof's confession to murdering 9 unsuspecting African Americans who welcomed him in to Bible study, saying that he believed that Black men rape white women daily. Remember the mob at the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021, and the images of the Confederate flag being paraded through a building meant to be the ultimate symbol of American democracy. Remember that there was national leadership whose words made the perpetrators of and the participants in these atrocities feel as if they had found both an ally and advocate in the highest elected office of the United States government. Remember George Floyd. Remember Breonna Taylor. Remember Ahmaud Arbery. Remember Botham Jean. Remember Tamir Rice. Remember Eric Garner. Remember Sandra Bland. Remember Philando Castile. Yes, say their names in remembrance of all names and all stories and histories, both known and unknown to us, but all of which challenge us to acknowledge that although we may be better, we are a long way from being at our best. Remember, and then resolve. Resolve to do your part in your time and in your space to add to a history that does not settle, a history whose goal is that we all manifest our best selves, a history whose mantra is often, none of us are free until all of us are free. Such resolve may or may not mean that everyone knows your name. Your name may or may not ever be up in lights. But making history, especially Black history, has never been and will never be about the recognition we receive. Nothing wrong with giving credit where it is due, we should. But just know that Black history is rife with unsung heroes. And ultimately, it's not about the recognition we receive, Rather, it is about the service we give. Meghan Markle, our Black princess, and her husband, Prince Harry, put it best recently when they said, "We can all live a life of service. Service is universal." The universe needs you. It needs your service. It needs your history. It needs your engagement in the ongoing struggle for liberty and justice for all. Remembering and resolving to do that is not just a celebration of history, but also a lifestyle that will make history. History that, rather than being defeated by differences, both transcends and embraces differences. History that, rather than being canceled by the changes that the world may put us through for the worst, conquers by changing the world for the best. That is the spirit embodied in the words from African-American theologian Dr. Howard Thurman saying, "Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do it." Thurman is right. But let me remind you that it takes courage and, yes, time for us to know exactly what or how we will do that which makes us come alive. But know that your passion will be your compass. God gave it to you, and God will guide you by it. Go do it. God bless you. God keep you. Stay safe. Stay encouraged.
I see them, crying out with all their might, yelling out hurtful things left to right. I feel terror creeping up my face, but I keep a blank poker face because I remember warriors don't cry. A good education and success in life. I can already imagine my parents' tears, watching me on TV, sharing the joy with all of our friends. To get there, I need to be brave. I need to be strong because warriors don't cry. I know I can make a difference. Things will finally change. There will be inclusion rather division. Everyone can live in peace. I know everyone might not get along, but I know it's a step to equality. Progress. Slow and painful at times, but crucial. Our ancestors smiled down from a high. Tears of joy run down my face. I wipe it off, proud. Warriors don't cry. As long as their arms are linked, then forward, together, they'll stride.
Eric Garner.
Teria Woods.
Tatiana Jefferson.
Lando Castillo.
Janisha Fondo.
Stephon Clark.
Laura Rosser.
Laquan McDonald.
Renisha McBride.
Gabriela Navarro.
Elijah McLean.
Tanisha Anderson.
Casey Goodson Jr.
Jordan Edwards.
Brianna Taylor.
Sandra Bland.
John Crawford.
Elton Sterling.
Oscar Grant.
Jordan Davis. Terrence Crutcher.
George Wood.
Tamir Rice.
Michelle Cusseau.
Corinne Gaines.
We remember all of these individuals, all of their names. We speak their names. We say their names. We remember their faces.
because they're no longer with us. And we remember them today in hopes of ending police brutality, racial injustice. We remember them today in hopes of sending a message to our society, our community, our nation, our world, that we have to do better, that we will do better, and that we are better. We remember.
Jada Milan Parker and Kyla Allen are both Lawrence High alumni. Kyla graduated from St. John's University and Jada graduated from Hampton University. Being back home in New Jersey after spending years in college, these young women have learned that standing up for what you believe in is imperative to the fight for equality. The outrage that stemmed from the murder of George Floyd made these two women compelled to do something to call attention to Black Lives Matter. Social media has always been something Jada was good at, so she reached out through her Instagram page to find ways she could help locally in Mercer County. She was shocked to find that the capital of New Jersey wasn't doing anything. With Kyla Allen's help, they were able to organize a protest in 2 days. During the protest, many people asked them what organization they were a part of, and they simply replied with, "We aren't with any organization, just Black girls trying to bring our community together." After the first protest, it inspired Jada and Kyla to get even closer to home and hold a protest in Lawrenceville, mainly for the youth. This time around, Kyla and Jada knew they couldn't do it alone, so they gathered a strong group of former LHS students, and that's how the Black Solidarity Group was created. Since the protest, the Black Solidarity Group has held a food drive, a blanket drive, and posts a monthly newsletter to keep the community engaged. The Black Solidarity Group's plan is to continue pouring into Lawrence High School and hopes to soon work with the brand new LHS Black Student Union. We salute Kyla Allen and Jada Parker and the Black Solidarity Group tonight for their service to the local and surrounding communities. Please join me in congratulating Kyla Allen and Jada Parker.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Lawrence High School administration, faculty, staff, students, and the Black History Celebration Planning Committee, we present to you both Jada Parker, Kyla Allen,
Thank you.
our Rising Star Awards. And the Rising Star Award is actually different from our Trailblazer Award. Trailblazers are for usually the older generation, but we think of Rising Stars as our younger generation that's making an impact within our society. And the both of you have done just that with the protests that you organized in Lawrence over the summer, which I attended and thoroughly enjoyed, very organized, even with the co-founding of the Black Solidarity Group. We have to say congratulations. We wanted to recognize you and show you that we took notice and we're just as proud of you as everyone else is, and you're a part of us. You are alumni of Lawrence High School, and this is our way of trying to inspire you to keep pushing forward and to keep breaking down the barriers to bring about racial justice within our community and surrounding communities. So congratulations to both of you. I'm so very proud of both of you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much to the Black History Celebration Planning Committee for thinking of us for this award. I would first like to thank God for blessing me and for every experience I've had that has led me up to this moment. I would like to thank Zora, Courtney, Isabel, John, and Joe from the Black Solidarity Group. Without us as a unit, so many of our events and our monthly newsletter would not be a thing. So I want to thank you each and all of you very much for being a part of our group. I would like to thank Jada for being my spark and my right hand through all of this. When we first did the protest in Trenton, I don't think either of us could have done it alone, but what we did was we did that together. So thank you for being my right hand through all of this and always having my back. I would like to thank my family for raising me up to be the woman that I am, for always showing me how important it is to be involved in the community. My mom was always involved, and I know that she'd be very proud of me holding this award today. And I would like to thank Ms. Clark for thinking of us for this honor. I remember being in your class my junior year of high school. I loved having you as my teacher, so thank you so much for supporting us through all of these events, our protests, and for thinking of us for this honor tonight.
First, I want to thank God. Without his faith, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I've done so far in my life. I secondly want to thank the Black Solidarity Group and everything they've done to keep the movement going as the years progressed. Third, I want to thank Kyla. She kind of lit that fire under me in the beginning because I didn't know which way to go, and she led me in that direction, and I thank her forever for being my sister for that. I also want to thank the Black History Committee for thinking of us when it comes to this award. I also want to thank Mr. Darren Green for being there and, motivating me to do everything that I did. And I lastly want to thank my family, especially my mother, for always being there and being my rock when it comes to everything. And then lastly, I think we both want to thank the community, the whole Mercer County community, and specifically the Lawrence community for coming out and supporting us this summer.
Yes, thank you for always coming to our events, for asking for ways to help, for sharing our posts, for being supportive. We appreciate and thank you all so much.
Thank you, guys.
Hello, my name is Dan Wolf, and I am the head of the Arts and Humanities Academy. And I have been working with Jametta Clark on helping to make the Black History Month celebration a huge success now for the past 8 years. Okay, and the Black History Month celebration is a big part of what makes the Arts and Humanities Academy tick. I have been blessed to not only know Miss Clark, she's my colleague, she's my friend, and she is a tireless, meticulous worker and puts her heart and soul into making sure that everybody has a great time each and every February with the Black History Month celebration that she puts on each and every year. What's even amazing to me is that it would have been very easy for her to say, well, we're going to skip this year. We're going through a global pandemic. It's going to be hard. We can't get people into the auditorium or into the cafeteria. Yet, not Miss Clark. The show must go on. And she has been working extremely hard. I see her working during her off periods in the social studies office, trying to make this event, this virtual event, just an amazing time for everybody within the community. It's very important that we all need to honor the great Black accomplishments of the past, present, and future to keep that alive, not only in our schools, in the classrooms, but at home as well. Just wanted to say thank you very much, Ms. Clark, for allowing me and the Arts and Humanities Academy to be able to work with you each and every year. I'm blessed. Thank you. Take care.
As always, thank you, Mr. Wolf, for that. I'm not sure, honestly, what I would do without you. Thank you for so many years of just being my ram in the bush, for being my rock in this process. I don't think I would be able to do any of this without you. You have really been there for me the number of years that we've done this event, and I am fortunate for you. I'm so grateful for you. So thank you so much for your kind words and for your dedication. I also want to say thank you to our school administration for their dedication, for their hard work in trying to bring this event together. When we left here last year, we thought we'd be back here together, all of us assembled into one building. But unbeknownst to us, that just would not be the case. So tonight, even though this event has been brought to you virtually, it has been amazing. It has been awesome. And I'm so proud of our faculty, our staff, our students, our administrators, just everyone pulling this all together, because without all of us working together, this would not have been possible. For our honorees, congratulations once again on being selected as this year's Trailblazer honorees and also our Rising Star honorees. We hope that this honor inspires you to keep striving, to keep paving the way and blazing the trails for students that will follow in your footsteps. And last but not least, I want to give a special thank you to our district media specialist director, Mr. Tom Irvin. Thank you so much for your patience, your diligence, your dedication, and just being amazing, because without you, truly, we would not have been able to put this virtual celebration together. So I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your dedication over a number of years, but especially on this evening, because without you, this virtual celebration would not have been possible. Before we leave you tonight, we have one more special performance. Here to perform the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, are members from our madrigal and ensemble choirs. Enjoy and have a great night.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with the steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed.
We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam bright star is cast.
God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever on the path, we pray.
Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee.